Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Adjust for size. All right, welcome everybody. This is check ourselves, make sure. Do we look decent? See, when you can see yourself in the camera, you know that you're staring at yourself most of the time. Let's be totally honest.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. So, it's like a mirror. Can't not. Can't not. So this is Book Buffet. It is Thursday morning. We do a book talking show on our Twitch channel, which is where we are. Hi. Unless you're watching it on YouTube. Hi. Glad you're here with us today. Glad you are here today. Tomorrow, I don't know if you know this, Rachel. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day.
I did hear that.
Once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The drama is high with the teen population, which my name is Courtney. I'm one of the teen librarians at the Addison Public Library. That's Rachel, also a teen librarian at the Addison Public Library, where we currently reside. And tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun. It's like one of my favorite days because it's just like so dramatic.
Yeah, we'll see who lasts, which relationships last the day,
or the week.
Which ones crumble under the pressure of a romantic holiday.
People confess, people get together, then they get broken up later that day. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And incredibly dramatic for the kiddos who are involved. But, you all gotta go through that sometime. Any hoozles, so love is in the air. Except for the people who just simply don't want that. In which case, it's annoyingly in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So we went and pulled pretty much something for everybody, we hope. So we've got you're sort of like the resident romance expert on books. I'm not. So we've got some that are solidly proper romance. We've got some that I think the stereotype is like all YA fantasy and science fiction and stuff all have romance. Good news. I found ones that's not about that. So I have some that have a little bit of attraction, sort of
a relationship is maybe there.
Yeah, it could be, but it's not about that at all. And then there's a good number of them that have nothing to do with it. There's a couple that kind of talk about it, but they're just, you'll see. All right, it's fine. Yeah, I guess I would actually move that one over here. We have piles.
Yes.
So I guess let's jump into it.
Can you give us one that's just straight up doesn't have romance?
No-mance.
No-mance.
No-mance. Let's go with Vespertine.
Yeah. I feel like that one's at the top of the list when you're like, YA, no romance.
No romance. Not at all. And fantasy, no romance.
Specifically.
And it was in every single list that I looked up. She is very extra no at all. So this is our main character is Artemisia. She's trained to become a Grey Sister, which is an order of nuns that have magic abilities to talk to the dead and work with the dead spirits and stuff. And it's to rest their spirits so that they don't become wandering ragey ghosts. So she's going about that. She's not very social. She's really awkward and doesn't really seem to fit in very well. Even with the other people that she knows, she's like, I understand ghosts, so I'm gonna stick with that. But then her convent gets attacked by ragey spirits that I think are possessing soldiers and stuff, and people are dying, and she's like, oh no, I have to do something about this. And she summons channels the spirit of this super high level revenant, which are really big, evil, powerful ghosts. And then she handles that particular situation and is like, uh-oh, I did illegal magic. Oops. In order to save everybody, I did a big oopsie. So now I have to be on the run from my own people because they're coming to get me and punish me. But also, What's the deal with this army of undead possessed soldier folk? And what's going on there? And maybe the only way that I can protect everybody and solve the problem is to do even more bigger and illegal magic.
Once you've done it, it's
you might as well jump in.
Let's keep it rolling.
But the problem is that, like, in order to learn how to do that magic, she has to work with this revenant that is, like, attached to her, and who is constantly trying to take her over. And so, like, they kind of become friends? Not, I think it's more like, oh, yeah, I'll be your friend so that you drop your guard and I'll get you. And he's, because the instructions on the very old illegal magic have been lost to time, and apparently only that revenant will know how to do it. So it's a very catch-22. It's like, pick your demon, like between a rock and a hard place type of a thing. But she's dynamic. She also, like, starts to make friends, and, she's, like, very socially awkward, but then starts to, like, gets a few friends, and then kind of goes like, oh, wait, actually having people around is kind of nice. That's cool. But, like, no romance. No romance.
She got a job to do.
She don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Like, she's got stuff to do. So go Vespertine. Yeah. This is also by the same author who did Sorcery of Thorns. Mm-hmm. And I do think, like, there's hints, I think, that there's like connections.
Same world?
I think so. I'm not sure, for sure. But there may be people watching this who are like, yeah, it's obvious. I'm like, I'm sorry, I haven't read them. I'm doing my best. But yeah. You want to go across the board?
Yeah.
Pick a manse.
Let's talk about
a full manse.
Romance readers know what they like and what they want.
True. And there's like a lot of subgenres of romance.
There are. And so I feel like I'm recommending more for the people that are like, I don't know if I like romance. Because someone who's like, I like romance, I like Grumpy Sunshine, I like fake dating, I like their rivals, I like childhood best friends, falling in love. We have all of that. We got it.
Enemies.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole thing.
Love them. I'm a big fan of the enemies. Like the enemies to the
those are
dating
fun.
And stuff. Like, that's real fun. I know you love the fake dating.
I love fake dating.
Yeah, those are actually really fun too.
Yes. So the ones that I pulled are more like, let's try out some different tropes and see what you do like.
That's good to know.
So I'll talk about +1 first. +1 is about, what is her name? Leahy?
Leahy. L-A-H-E-Y. L-A-H-E-Y. Didn't type that anywhere. L-A-H-E-Y.
She is a matchmaker. She's really good at, like, figuring out, you are this type of person, you would be attracted to this type of person, I've got that, here you go, matchmake. She's never dated. And so, her cousin, who's, they're like similar ages, is gonna have her sweet 16. She does not get a +1 to her cousin's sweet 16 party.
How very dare.
Because her cousin's like, well,
you're not dating anyone.
You don't date, you've never dated anyone.
Honestly, true.
And, like, he's like...
And those parties are expensive.
Yes, but she's feeling left out. And she's like, just because I've never dated before doesn't mean I don't want to date. And actually, I have so many suitors. The problem would be, who would I even pick for my +1? And so her cousin's like, okay, fine, you get a +1. And she's like, crap, I don't have many suitors. What she does have are the profiles of the guys who would like a girlfriend, who she is supposed to be matchmaking. So she's thinking to herself, I'll just take a couple of these profiles and become the match for each of them. And I'll just, like, test run a few of these and see which one, like, works best.
Wow.
So she sets herself up on a series of dates. with each of these guys, and in each one she has to like change and be a different person in order to like make the right match. But meanwhile, her older sister's friend is like, this is a dumb idea.
Yeah.
You're gonna hurt a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you're gonna hurt yourself.
It's a conflict of interest, hon.
It's a conflict of interest.
Wow.
So yeah, she's trying to juggle all these suitors, and she has a week also. She's doing this in a week. Her cousin's party's in a week. Yeah.
Are there like scenes where it's like, okay, at 1 p.m. I have a lunch date with, and at 7 p.m. I have a dinner date with?
Basically, the way it is like Sunday.
Oh my goodness,
then like
it is.
Everything she does on Sunday to like all the way through Saturday to her cousin's party.
That's wild.
So,
That's
yeah.
utter drama.
So this is a fun one with a lot of the romance tropes. Like this book has everything.
It kind of does, because it's like a little bit of fake dating.
A little bit of fake dating.
A little bit of everything, honestly.
A little bit of like, bachelor style, going on multiple dates.
Those are fun.
But then we also have, sister's best friend.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's another one.
Yeah. So a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
For the romance lovers. And yeah, we do have this one in romance, which means there's a happy ending, but we don't know.
Yeah.
With who.
It reminds me a little bit of, we did it for summer reading. It was, I cannot remember the title of it, where she was the writer and he was the actor.
Yes.
And they pretended to like...
This Time It's Real.
Yeah, that one. This Time It's Real. It was very fun.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about that one at a later date. But yeah, that one's like a proper fake dating one.
This one is, she's doing it for real, sort of.
Yeah.
But these guys aren't, this is not what they signed up for, necessarily.
Yeah, so she like abused the system and is like, they look kind of cool, I'll meet them up and match what they need. Okay. Alright. Okay, let's do, why not? It's on the top of my list here. Loveless. So this is about, what is her name? Georgia. So Georgia is in high school and is like, everybody is so absolutely obsessed with dating and crushes and like kissing and everything that goes with romance and relationships and everything else, and I cannot care. Like, I want to care, but I can't, and like it doesn't seem to fit right, and I don't even understand it. And like, she's just kind of like always struggling with that. And then I believe she goes to college then? Yeah. So she goes to college and discovers that in the LGBT, additional letters thereupon, there is also an A, which stands for asexual. So therefore not interested in relationships like that. You can be aro, so not interested in romantic relationships, or asexual, which is not interested in all the things that come with those things. And she's like, oh, wait, no, that makes sense for me. Like, I'm really not. And now this whole entire book is sort of like her personal journey, figuring out what that is for her and like her place in it. Like, how do you live a life where everybody is telling you like relationships, and she's like, I'm good, fam. Like, I don't need that. Like, I don't need that to be fulfilled. But your whole life you've been told you do need that to be fulfilled. So it's her story in that way. This is, I think, phenomenally written by the same author who wrote Heartbreaker, which is Heartstopper. Thank you. I knew I did it wrong. Heartstopper series, which is like a really popular romance, adorable romance.
Just a cute little cinnamon roll romance.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it even has a show.
Yeah.
Like, that's how popular it is. And this is by the same author of that. Actually, I have another book by the same author in here later. But this one's my kind of an in-between, because even though the character is like, yeah, I want nothing to do with romance, like, that's not for me, it is a common topic because it's about the story of her kind of like discovering that for herself. there's not a lot of Aro Ace representation out there, and it's kind of nice to have like a book that is just distinctly about that, because it is it's a weird life. Like, and I'm saying from like personal experience of just like not being interested in any way and just being like, but why? What's wrong with me? Hi, Itchy. I'm glad that you joined the chat. I'm glad to see you. So it's kind of nice to see like a book. You are lurking. I am glad that you are. So it's cool to see a book with like this kind of representation, just so comfortably stated and that kind of like viewpoint, front and center. Another one of those like windows, mirrors, and doors type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, give it a look.
Cool.
Yeah. And then let's do a proper no romance. This is by Mercedes Lackey, who we have talked about Mercedes Lackey before. Very good fantasy writer. Wrote the Hunter, and we talked about Hunter and Prey and whatnot earlier.
Yes.
And then there's like a bunch of other ones. Mostly she does, I think she's got a good number of adult fantasy as well. Whatever. So this is a story about Sleeping Beauty's older sister. So they're half sisters. And she herself, Brianna never wanted to rule at all. And she was like, technically, legally, I really kind of can't, because like I'm not from a marriage that was royal. So when her parents, now the royal couple, so her parent, is it like her dad? Whatever. Her
parents are not royal, and then one of her parents.
So she's the daughter of the queen, but she's not a princess. So her mom had married the king's champion, and that's her dad.
Gotcha.
So then after the champion died, her mom married the king, and now the two of them had Princess Aurora, thus known as Sleeping Beauty.
So her mom is the queen, but she's from a previous
she's from a previous relationship, but she was like, before Sleeping Beauty was born, she was like, I don't want to this is not who I am. Like, I don't want to be royal. I don't want to rule anything. That's terrifying. So she was like absolutely relieved when Aurora was born, and she loves her little sister. Like, she's the best. And she's like, this is great. Like, everything is wonderful. I have this awesome family, and like my little sister is just the cutest little thing. And like, and she will rule because legally she has to, you know? Yeah. And, but then the dark fairy shows up to curse Aurora, and oops.
We're all asleep.
Well, not quite, because turns out Brienne has a magic about her that she is actually able to protect her family from the dark fae.
Oh.
Who now has her sights turned on to Brienne because she's the threat.
Yeah.
So this is very much about family and friendship. You're not going to have Prince Charming swooping in. She don't need no charming. She has capabilities, and she's going to do what she can to protect her family and keep them from falling asleep, because she's like, I stopped one massive curse, and it takes a long time for big curses to happen again. Gonna have to stop the next one, but I got a little bit of time, you know. Yeah. So it's a wild one. But I think it's really kind of cool to do like it's like subverting like the stepsister thing.
Yeah.
She's not an evil stepsister or a wicked stepsister. She is like fully devoted to her family. And she's going to do whatever she can to make sure that they're safe. So
cool.
Yeah. You got another one?
I do.
Yeah.
This one, the Meet Cute Project. Yeah. Meet Cute Project. It is like a balance, I think, to +1.
Yeah.
And that this main character, Mia, hates rom-coms. And she doesn't like romance. And she's like, that's not real. That's like not how it happens in real life. But she does need a date. This time to her sister's wedding.
Of course. And this time she has a +1, and she's like, oh no.
She has a +1, and she's like, but I need the person.
Right.
And I don't have any, and also I don't want any.
Oh.
But it's her sister's wedding. Her sister was like, please, like, we need you to have someone. So her friends are like, don't worry about it. We will send you on a series of dates. We will each pick out a suitor for you and, like, tell him where to meet you. We'll tell you where to go and, like, manufacture these meet cutes, basically.
Interesting.
So yeah, she's game. She's an athletic person. She's like, this sounds kind of like fun, like a challenge. So yes, I will do this for my sister. I will do this just for fun, just to, like, have someone to bring to my sister's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, each little meet cute, she kind of realizes, like, oh, my very romantic friend sent me on, like, a very romantic date with a guy who's, like, way too much for me.
Yeah.
Or, you know, this friend is, like, seems to think that, like, I want someone who's just as athletic as I am, but, like, that's a lot. Like, I'm the athlete here. Like, I don't need my match to be.
I don't need to be hyper competitive athletically at all times.
So she's learning about herself. She's learning about, this is what my friends think of me. And this is what I would maybe want in a potential future boyfriend.
Which is kind of the point of dating anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
just
figure out who you are, figure out what you want in a partner, and more specifically what you don't want in a partner, and kind of, like, explore that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I find that really funny because the first book was like, here's a reasonable situation where you don't have a +1 to a wedding, but you're going to respond to it horrendously.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is like, they kind of unreasonably want you to have a +1 to a wedding because it's like, dude, you're going to be in pictures. What if you break up in 2 days?
Yes.
But okay. But that's actually really cute.
My sister. So yeah.
Yeah.
Another one that we have in romance, but another one where, yeah, she is going on multiple dates and we're not quite sure if any of these are going to be a love match or if they will just be
nice
match for the wedding.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fun. Mm-hmm. All right. So that was a full manse. Let's go to a some manse. So this is Iron Cast. I sometimes like to, like, match up my food.
Oh. Whoa! It works really well.
Kind of have the hair for it today. Yeah. Anywho,
That's fun.
That was fun. I enjoyed it, and the stream is over. Can't get better than that. Anyway, so Iron Cast. This is sort of like an alternate fantasy history-ish. So kind of think of sort of Prohibition 20s era. But the thing that is, well, drinking and dancing and everything is illegal here, but so is also blood magic. But it's not like, I know, you'd be like, well, of course, but it's not like, it's not like blood magic how we think. So there are people who have this ability to do certain things like sing or play music or what have you, sort of like performance arts, and they, in the process of that, it kind of creates a certain magic to those who are kind of like watching and participating in the audience. They see like illusions. And yes, you can kind of, or people kind of see that and be like, well, you can manipulate people that way. Yeah, I can see that happening. However, vast majority of people who have that ability are just like, I just love to perform. And I'm just making a space where I can perform. And people come to the shows and they like seeing these things and experiencing the show. So there's underground speakeasies where these two girls who are best friends, one comes from a very poor situation, one from a very rich situation. Neither of their families know that the girls have these abilities because it is frankly simply illegal for them to even exist. But this is not a choice thing. It's literally in their blood. They're born with it. It is biological. So it is tested in their blood. If they touch iron, it literally burns them, but they didn't pick it. It just happens. So it follows these two girls who are in this world. They are friends, and it is a very dangerous and precarious world for them. They're at risk of being exposed at any moment, losing absolutely everything, while, yeah, there's one of them is dating this guy. She's been with him for a very long time. And the other one, there's this other dude who is like interested in her and is like trying to pursue her. But frankly, what's kind of nice is that those guys have nothing to do with the story. Like, it's flavor text, if anything. It's like, it's just to flesh out that these girls have lives. Yeah. And that is all. You know, it's not about those relationships. It's about those two girls, their friendship, and the very difficult things that they are going to go through to make sure that they're both okay. There is betrayal, not by them. There is drama, and there is a lot of danger, and there's a couple of parts where I went, oh, please get out, please get out, please get out. Like, but it's very, very good. And it's kind of cool it's sort of like a dark, grungy, somewhat steampunky, somewhat fantasy-ish 20s New York-ish vibe. But it was really good. I liked it.
Cool.
Yeah. Like, I was willing to, if there was a sequel, I'd read it.
Oh, it's just standalone.
Yeah, it's just a standalone, which is also can be quite nice. So that's a Some Manse. And then let's go with a No Manse. So this one is a bit of this one's a twist of a romance. So, this is about, Princess Alira. I'm also, like, realizing so many of the princess names are, like, A names. What's with that? Anyway, so Princess Alira, does not have a great home life. Her mom does not care. Her brothers are cruel and vindictive. And she just wants to get away from them. And she's just like, if only, but I'm trapped here forever. So then, somebody shows up at the castle and offers her a betrothment to this Prince Kieran. And she's like, if anything, this is going to get me out of here. So we've got a potential marriage on the line. So we're like, oh, well, we know how that goes. Surprise, it doesn't. This is a no-manse, let me remind you. So while she is on her way to going to get betrothed, a sorceress pops in and forces her to trade bodies with this other woman, who's a noble woman who absolutely hates her for reasons who knows. And in the process of that, so now she's in this new body. She's trying to figure out her own way. You also kind of get the view of the person in her body trying to now figure out how to be princess and kind of realizing, like, oh, wait, this is awful. But she is now in this new body. She's trying to figure that out and what her role is. And she's like, oh, wait, hold on. I'm more free than I was before. Yeah. This is amazing. Like, I'm going to
live my life.
Yeah, I'm going to live my life. So she becomes the royal goose girl. So she takes care of the gooses. Prince Kieran is like, there's something weird about you. I don't know. Like, so he's obviously, he's around. So you're just like, there's level. It's not a romance. There's no manse in this one. But now that she is seeing the kingdom from a different side, like, it was horrible for her as a royal, but now she's very much not a royal, and very much like, I am taking care of the gooses. She's also seeing that it's not good here either. There are some dark sides to the kingdom, and now she has to decide, is this something that she kind of just sits back and just lets live, and this is her new life and that's how it's going to sit, or is she going to speak up, and is she going to do something about it?
Cool.
So
that was fun.
Yeah, right? So it is a retelling of The Goose Girl, which personally I'm not familiar with either. But when I was looking up reviews and stuff
with like the swan.
Yeah, like the Swan Princess and like Princess and the Pauper type of thing, but I'm not really sure. I'm not super familiar with it, but some of the people are like, this was my favorite fairy tale growing up, so like, that's cool. Yeah. And they said that the book was a really good, Gail Carriger did a
blurb.
A blurb.
Nice.
I love Gail Carriger. It's just like, we've talked about her before too. I would recommend her all the times. So yeah, I think this will go onto my to-read list as well. But yeah, it looks pretty golden, and it also has a bone. Well, if you get this if they get this copy of it, there's also a chapter of the bone knife, So a little short story set in the world
Oh, cool.
of Thorn. So you get a
like
little
those.
bit more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's take it out of fantasy and into reality.
Yeah.
Flip the script. This is going to be a totally realistic romance. Nothing wild happening here.
Nothing at all.
Just a girl who grew up in Florida but always wanted to be an actress, so her parents are like, great, we're moving back to Korea. And you're going to be acting in a K-drama.
Yeah, sure.
So Hana is her name, and she is now the lead in a K-drama.
Awesome.
Opposite a K-pop idol. So that's like trope number one. We have like regular person, celebrity. The problem is the reviews for the show are not great.
Uh-oh.
They think there's not enough there.
Sure.
So the producers are like, here's what we're gonna do. You two are gonna start a showmance. There's trope number 2.
Showmance.
She's going to fake date her lead.
Because that's absolutely like a thing.
It's a thing.
Like within like the Korean celebrity shipness of things, there's like tropes and stuff between the celebrities.
Yes. So his name is Brian. So Hana and Brian are now to be seen together offset. They grabbed lunch over here. The paparazzi caught them maybe sneaking a little kiss.
Yeah, and it's all orchestrated.
All orchestrated. This also doesn't help.
Oh,
reviews are still not great.
Oh, no.
There's just like not a lot of chemistry between them, even though Brian does seem to really like Hana.
Mm-hmm.
So the producers are like, great, here's what we're going to do next. We're introducing another lead to the show. And this lead is Hana's former best friend.
Oh, no.
Turned rival. And now we have a love triangle.
Yes.
What's her name? Minji, I think. Yes. Minji is now on the show. And they will both be competing for Brian's affections.
Mm-hmm.
And this helps a lot.
I bet it does.
Reviews are getting a lot better. The problem is, Brian really likes Hana. Hana does not like Brian.
Uh-oh.
Hana's like, I like Minji.
Yes! Wait, does Minji like Brian?
So we're getting it from Hana's perspective. Oh. So we're not sure if Minji likes Brian or if Minji likes Hana.
Okay, for the sake of an actual triangle, we're going to say that that's true.
Yes.
There's so few actual triangles.
And it's all tangled because their feelings of the characters they play on the show are different than the real life feelings.
Yes.
So Hana has to keep straight, like, okay, when I'm acting, I'm into Brian. I'm supposed to pretend to be dating him, but I'm actually not that into him, but he is into me. So
I love it.
This one's a lot.
It's so good.
This one's a lot.
It's so good.
The script. We also have this one in romance. So there's a happy ending, but yeah, I don't know how it all plays out.
Amazing. All right, that one's fun.
That one's a lot of fun.
I think next year.
Yeah, this one's very trope heavy. If you are like, let's count them all up. There's a lot in there.
We're always looking out for potentially phenomenal books for our summer reading program, and we'll look at that one a little more closely later.
I'm gonna have to read this one to see how it all plays out.
Let's see. I think we should go to a nomance, and then if you can do that one.
Sure.
Okay, cool. We'll do that one after. So we'll do net.
Perfect.
Sure. Math. Why not? Let's do this one. Also, because I think you'd be interested in this one too. So this is Daughters of the Dead Empire.
Okay.
It is a Russian Revolution rewrite.
Wait, I love that.
So it's sort of
like the Romanovs?
Sort of. It is sort of like an Anastasia retelling.
Okay.
So Anna is bourgeois. She is from upper class Russian society, and the Russian Revolution comes around, and everyone she knows is getting murdered in front of her eyes. Yeah. But she manages to narrowly escape the massacre of her entire family, and steals away with her little brother, and as well as she has this diamond that she then hides away with and kind of enlists the help of this girl and she's like, I will give you this diamond if you help us escape. That girl is a Bolshevik. Who is one of the people who is murdering Anna's family. Yeah, who started the revolution. But this girl agreed to help her. For whatever reason. So now the Bolsheviks are after Anna and her brother, who is very hurt and very much needs a doctor. And also the girl who is helping them. Because even though she's a Bolshevik, people are after her because she's helping, the upper class. There's chase scenes. There is, like somebody said, there are epic chase scenes, hiding diamonds in corsets, amazing fights, and a very big world into a brand new a big view into a brand new political view of, how the world is run now, at least in this context. So a little bit of everything. The two girls do become quite close, but this is a no-man's. This is very solidly a no-man's, so no worries there. You don't have to worry about any of those cushy feelings. But it's pretty high octane. And if you are very interested in like the Romanovs and that story, this is the escape afterwards.
I like it.
I thought you would. And also, that not so pretty. It is so pretty. So, yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
You want to do Six of Crows?
Yes, let's talk about Six of Crows, which has a few relationships, especially as you get further into the series. I think
later, right?
I think there's a duology, but there's also there's several sets of duologies that are
they're interconnected and stuff. So
so
this is a submance.
The real romance comes later. This is where we're just kind of meeting the characters.
Right.
What this book really is a heist novel.
And I have been told to read this book about 5 billion times by Rachel.
Yes. I will say the initial chapters are a lot because you are learning a whole new world and the politics of that world, and you are meeting 6 characters. But once you've got it, it flies. So I will say, give yourself some time to get into it. The first few chapters, you're gonna want to limit the distractions. But I think most people who have read this book and enjoy it, will agree that once you're in it, you're good. Yeah. And it really only does take the 2 chapters, and you're like, okay, there's a map, right? We got a fantasy
Love
map.
a map.
And I think it helps to know that your main character is going to be Kaz, and Kaz, consider him the dark, mysterious, has a shady past, but heart of gold character, and he is gathering up.
So he's the Clooney.
Yes, he's the Clooney.
Kaz is the Clooney.
He's gathering a team. They're doing one last job, to break in, they're having to travel through many different lands to get something. But basically, he's got himself. He finds himself. She's basically very good at acrobatics, but she also can throw knives, and she's all around just how do I do it without swearing?
Awesome.
She's awesome. She's awesome.
We know what we wanted to say.
She's very skilled.
You know what we wanted to say.
They have a guy who's good with explosives. They've got their man on the inside.
Oh, I love it.
They have someone who may or may not be a witch.
I'm absolutely just envisioning the whole montage of just freeze frames. And then,
yes. They all have their different
the
skills.
Hacker.
They're all gonna get themselves in. But there's a lot of political double, triple crossing. At some point you're not sure who to trust. A lot of layers to it. Mm-hmm. I think what really works with it is that these characters are just a lot of fun. Yeah. And I think readers who enjoy it will find themselves oh, this is my character, this is the one I like. Different chapters are narrated from the points of view of each of the characters. So you are kind of like getting in their heads and seeing like what their own motivations are for joining on the heist.
I mean,
because they don't all have the same motivation. It's the other thing. Some of them are there to like get themselves out of a life of servitude.
Right.
Others are there because they maybe have a crush on someone else. So there is that. There's like crushes. But yeah, it's not romantic. It's not a romance.
Well, I'll have to see where the e-audiobook is.
Yes.
And probably get that sucker on hold along with a bunch of them. My holds list on Libby and Hoopla just keep getting longer and longer.
I also love the TV show, which was canceled, unfortunately. But the first 2, is it 2 or 3 seasons? I don't remember how many were released.
Yeah, because it's the author of the Krishnaverse.
Yeah. Yeah, so they combined this
Grisha.
with, what is the first one of that one? Shadow and Bone? Is that what it's called?
Is it?
I believe.
Oh.
It's 2 different the books, it's 2 different timelines. In the show, they kind of
merge them together.
Yeah, and I think they do a great job. I think the casting was great.
Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah, that's where they're breaking into, the ice court. Ooh, on the second.
Oh, so you got a map and a map.
Yes.
I like it. So, yeah, something good to go for. Yeah. If anything. It is a chunky boy.
It is.
But that's also... Oh, and it, like, jumps perspectives, too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's fine. Cool. So you really get to know everybody kind of independently.
Yes, you do.
Neat. All right, let's go to The Gilded Ones. Have you read this one yet?
No.
Cool.
I have not.
That means you can't tell me I'm wrong. So this is a world where everybody is, when they are 16 years old, they have to go through this ritual where like a shaman or whatnot like cuts their arm, I think, and then sees what color their blood is. If it's red, good job, you're pure. If it's gold, you're impure. And if you're lucky, they kill you immediately. If you're unlucky, which is most of them, you are probably going to be sold, tortured, enslaved, and killed multiple times.
What?
Yeah. So our main character, her name is Decca. Turns out she has the gold blood.
Yep.
And her village immediately shoves her into a cellar and kills her. And then kills her again. And then again, 9 times until she is rescued and by this woman who is like, hey, you are welcome to stay here and get killed until you don't come back again. Because there is something very special about you. Your blood connotates that you have these abilities where it is very, very difficult to actually kill you. You heal incredibly quickly, sort of like Wolverine. You are faster, stronger, you can jump higher, you can do all these amazing things. You can stay here and let them just continuously kill you. Or you come and you learn how to fight and defend the Emperor against this growing threat of like people who are keep coming in. So in their empire, they are getting raided by this other people who are coming in and murdering all of the men and stealing all of the women and children in these villages. So they're like, we're going to find other people like you, and we are going to train them, and you are going to be like the special ops, special elite force, fighting force. Mm-hmm. Turns out Decca, well, guess what she chooses? She's like, life's good in the cellar, getting killed. So she goes and she learns how to fight. Turns out that her abilities are even stronger than everybody else's because, of course, they are. Mm-hmm. And
that's why the book is written about.
That's her. Why the book is written about her and not about Bella. Yeah. Not that person exists, but hey. So she kind of becomes the leader of this group and eventually the hero of these people. And there is a sequel. So, I guess that could be written about Bella. We don't know. But what does that tell you? But there's
red-blooded Bella.
Yeah, but as she's kind of growing and learning about herself, she's also realizing that there's a lot of secrets about who she is and what she is too. Yes. So, and maybe things that people didn't even know to begin with. So yeah,
Cool.
it's a wild one. Real good big adventure. This is a proper romance. She has better things to do, and frankly doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's just not that book, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's fun to have like a fantasy where it's just solidly, it's just about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. You've been itching.
I've been itching to talk about The Rose Bargain, which is a new book. It just came out this month. And look at how beautiful. It's just so February. It's very Valentine's, pink roses. Yeah, this is a dark romantic fantasy. This is,
I mean, I'll probably read this.
when you're thinking about fantasy and fantasy tropes and romance tropes. Yes. And it's so much fun. So a rose bargain is a bargain that the people of England, this is like 1800s England, I believe, Victorian era, they make rose bargains with their queen. Their queen is a fairy. She is immortal and she has been on the throne for about 400 years now. But when you turn 18, you can make a bargain. So quite often, what the women will do is they will bargain for luscious hair or straight teeth, or to fix the little bump on their nose, or
the dreaded little bump on your nose.
yes, or some sort of like vanity project. I want to be a little bit taller. I want to make sure that, I'm trying to think of some of the ones from the book. I want to make sure all my jokes make the men laugh. So yeah, it's not always physical. Sometimes it's, I want to have a great memory. I want to,
Sure.
little things like that. Men can also make bargains. Quite often their bargains are for land or for titles or for money. So our main character, Ivy, is not looking forward to her debut. Her sister did this a couple years ago and it ruined her. Her sister does not remember what her bargain is. She certainly didn't benefit from it. She spent her entire season not falling in love, not finding a mate, and she's basically ruined their whole family. Everyone's just like, well, that's embarrassing.
Apologies if you can hear banging.
We do have construction.
We have construction going on right above our heads. So somebody just dropped something big.
Yes.
Carry on.
Carry on. So Lydia did not do well. She now just kind of like stays in her room and is sad all the time. I was like, well, great.
Poor thing.
I don't want to, I'm not going to find, no one wants me, right? And everyone's like, that family is, something's wrong with that family. I'm not going to make a good bargain. What's going to happen? And then, as she goes in, the queen says, this season will be a little bit different. All of you ladies can make your bargains as normal, but if you'd like, you can sign up for this competition that we're going to host to get engaged to my son.
Oh, that's fun.
He's 18 now. He's ready to get married.
And there's no better way to find a perfect match for your child or for yourself than a weird competition.
She's like, great, I have nothing to lose. I could be princess. I could be queen someday.
Sure.
Even though these people are not people, they're fairies and immortal. She is mortal. So she signs up for the competition. It ends up being her and 5 other girls. And basically the conditions of it, they do like a blood pact. You either win or the queen will either kill you or take away your family's land and titles and everything. So it's basically win or die.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. Stakes are a little higher. But I could do it. He's kind of cute. I think I'm going to be okay. And I also, her real motivation is to figure out what happened to her sister. Her sister went missing for a little bit, 2 weeks. When she came back, she was all like dirty and gross. And also does not remember her bargain. That's like the main thing is like, I need to know what my sister bargained for, like what actually happened. So that's what she's hoping to do is like get into the royal family and figure this out.
So it's like, it's interesting. It's like, what is wrong with that prince? That the stakes have to be or death.
Yes. So that's the setup.
We haven't even started.
And then the prince's human brother is like, hey, Ivy, do you want to take down the queen from the inside? I will make sure you win. Because here's how we can take her down. and undo all of the bargains.
Oh.
If we take away her power, we can get every bargain for the last 400 years to be undone.
Okay, yeah, no, you got me there. Okay, I'm good. Let's go.
So yeah, she's in a competition to marry the prince, who's cute, he's attractive, and he's very nice. He's kind of like dopey and kind. And his brother is dark and brooding and mysterious.
Right, so you have that, like, duality thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's having some, like, feelings for the human boyfriend, for the human brother, while also being like, but the fairy brother is very nice.
So we've got we've got a love angle. Here going on.
Yes.
Like she's right in the
middle.
She's right in the middle, and she's like.
What's also very cool is so you're reading along, you're like, oh, this is great. This is like high stakes fantasy, and then it all of a sudden switches perspectives.
Ooh.
And you get to hear from all the other girls in the competition.
Oh, neat.
And so I was like reading, I'm like, wait a minute. This is not Ivy. This is Olive. Yeah. And so they also, of course, have their own reasons for being in the competition.
That's cool.
And not only are they competing as in like, okay, that's nothing.
Don't worry about that.
As in like, oh, let's go on dates, like bachelor style competition. The queen is like, I will also have my own little mini games in between, and they're very bloody. They're like, you have to play the piano for 10 minutes without making a mistake. If you make a mistake, the piano like bites your hands, and after that you have to walk around with the plate on your head, princess practice. Oh, did you drop the plate? Well, you're going to make another little lap with another plate on your head, and you're going to hold the shards of the plate that you broke in your hand. So yeah, it's like Bachelor, Squid Games, plot to destroy the queen.
Yeah.
Has everything.
Nice.
The Rose Bargain.
That's really looks fun.
It is. It's going to be a duology.
Ooh, very fun.
There's another one coming out. I think it'll come out next year.
Ooh, sorry. That just screams like political intrigue.
Yes.
Like, that's fun. Those can be very enjoyable. Cool beans. Nice. Yeah. I mean, you've been raving about that.
Yeah.
For quite a bit now. I was like, Rachel, are you good to do this? Rachel was like, I want to talk about this book.
I just want to talk about this one.
I want to talk about this one. I want to talk about Bravely, but we've already done that, and which is why I'm even reading it. But I'm like obsessed with that sucker right now. So, this is not Bravely. So that is a full manse. This is some manse, kind of. This is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, and frankly, if I say the words by Brandon Sanderson, we're done talking about the book. It's golden. Anyway, so it's about so Spencer wants to be a pilot. She is very, very passionate about it. But it's not just like, ooh, let's, attention passengers. No, it is more like spaceship fighter pilotiness.
Yes.
Because her world has been under attack for decades by an invading force. And basically, now the pilots are the heroes of whatever is left of the human race. And she wants to be that. The problem, though, is that her dad was a pilot. And she just absolutely loved her father. But for some reason, her father betrayed his team. And, not ditched, abandoned, went AWOL. Poofed. Away he went, deserted. There we go. Yep. I knew I was going to get there. So he deserted and left everyone. So now she is the daughter of a traitor and a coward. Yes. And she's like, I'm never going to get into flight school. Like, it's already really hard to get into flight school, and I kind of had a leg up because my dad was a pilot. But now that's totally lost. Like, I'm shamed, and there's no way we could do this. This book it's going to be really good because we haven't even gotten there yet, because she finds an accidental discovery in a long-forgotten cavern, which is the start of every great Voltron show. Like, she finds a ship a sentient ship, I do believe, and she kind of bonds with it, and she's like the only one who can fly it, and now well, they can't stop her now. So this is, you get to know her, you get to know the ship, which is wild. There is a little bit of there, but frankly, honestly, like, she's got bigger things to do. There is an alien force that is destroying her planet, and she's like, I have problems, and I don't have the luxury to deal with emotions. It is an intense read. But yeah, anything, honestly, by Brandon Sanderson is top of the charts.
Yeah, he usually writes adults, so this is fun to see.
It is really fun to see something a little bit younger. The back blurb is just simply, defiance is survival.
I've heard this one called How to Train Your Dragon, but it's a girl in her ship.
It's a girl in her ship. That too is like, that doesn't sell you.
Yeah.
I don't know what will.
Yeah.
So, good one. This is also on my to-read list. I have not gotten there yet, but it will be done. All right, last one for the day is Radio Silence. This is also by the author of Heartbreaker and also Loveless, like we talked about before. So, let's get the names. Frances spends most of her time, she studies and does her thing, and but when she's not studying, she is drawing fan art for her favorite podcast called University. And there's this other boy, Alid, who is just super quiet dude. He just gets straight A's. Everybody knows him for that. But nobody knows that he is the creator of University, secretly going by the username Radio Silence.
Okay.
And until one summer when Alid contacts Frances and is like, hey, will you make art for my show? So together they start collaborating with it, making art, and they start to spend the entire summer together. They become friends. They find that they like a lot of the same things, which is fair because, like, her favorite podcast is the show that he makes. So that's not that hard. And he obviously likes her art. So they become friends. They get to know each other very, very well. They become besties. And again, no-mance. This is a no-mance. So you might be like, oh, and then, no, it just doesn't, which is kind of nice. It's just good friends. But then Alid's secret identity as Radio Silence gets out. He is exposed. And suddenly there's all this attention. There's backlash for it. And now the question is, like, how did this get revealed? Only one person knew. And will their friendship survive? You'll have to see. This is very much a book about friendship. It's a book about school drama, stress, and pressure. And it's kind of nice to just, like, solidly just, it focuses on friends. You can have a boy and a girl be a friend without doing more than that, you know? Yeah. And that's what this book is about. So it is quite good. It's a chunker, too. But this was another one when I was looking up, like, no romance. People were just, like, screaming this one's name. So there you go.
Cool.
So there you go. You got a good selection of, thank you, Purple Mod, for adding in our search for the catalog. So we've got a bunch of romances. We've got a bunch of, let's see.
Maybe some.
We've got our
few mances.
Some mances. So our romances are some mances, and then a good selection of our no-mances. So, yay. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Go in with whatever vibe you feel like.
Take care of yourselves.
Yeah. If you need to be like, if you're full bore, good for you. Have a great time. If you are like, kind of like, a little bit of here, a little bit of not, that's also good for you. Oh, I realized I put that one over there too. There we go. Golden, good for you too. And if you're like no-mance, awesome. Just remember, above everything else, Saturday is when the chocolate goes on discount. And we don't have to work on Saturdays. Hey, you want chocolate discounts, Itchy. I know you do. Yeah, so let's go get those chocolates. I know I am. Yes. We'll go for our chocolate discounts. We'll talk about our hoard next week. All right. See you all next time. Have a great week. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.